Imagine your mind as a crowded room where hundreds of conversations are happening all at once. Your immediate goals are competing with daily worries. Reminders are shouting over long-term hopes. And eventually, it all becomes paralyzing mental noise. Psychologists refer to this traffic jam as cognitive load. Your brain actually has a strictly limited amount of working memory. When that space gets stuffed with unfinished thoughts and lingering anxieties, you have almost no bandwidth left for creativity or problem solving. To make matters worse, your brain operates as a survival machine, biologically built to prioritize danger. Because of this, it will actively marshal up limiting beliefs, telling you that you aren't ready or you aren't good enough, just to keep you safely anchored inside your comfort zone. If you've ever tried to simply outthink an overthinking brain, you know it doesn't work. As long as those thoughts remain internal, they stay highly emotional, exaggerated, and incredibly difficult to examine objectively. The ultimate solution requires a physical extraction. By taking a pen and offloading those exact thoughts onto a piece of paper, you force your brain to organize them. This creates immediate psychological distance between you and your worries. Journaling serves as a cognitive extraction tool, designed to recover mental bandwidth and regain control of your day-to-day life. We can break this practice down into 3 distinct levels of depth. Level 1 is auditing the day. This is the baseline method to clear out that scattered working memory by simply getting recent events onto paper. A popular framework for this is called morning pages. The practice is straightforward. Every morning, you write out a few pages, or even just 3 short lines, to completely dump any initial mental noise before your day even begins. Another approach at this level is the homework for life concept. At the end of the day, you ask yourself one question: what was the single most story-worthy thing that happened to me today? Then you record it in a maximum of 2 sentences. These micro-habits perform a critical function. They force your brain to recognize the small, easily overlooked details of your routine. By deliberately logging these moments, you successfully break the blur of living on autopilot. If I ask you what you did last Tuesday, your mind probably goes blank. But Level 1 auditing transforms a forgotten, mundane day into a permanent record of your personal history. It stops your time from slipping away completely unacknowledged. Once you establish a daily audit, you move to Level 2, regulating the present. This level focuses entirely on processing internal emotions to build immediate distance from overwhelming stress. In a 2015 study, researchers looked at 2 groups of students. One group wrote expressively about a painful event, while the other wrote about a neutral topic. 4 months later, the expressive writing group showed a sharp drop in stress levels. The mechanism is structural. Writing forces your brain to translate an emotional, exaggerated problem into logical, structured sentences, instantly becoming manageable. This is also where gratitude journaling becomes essential. Our brains have a built-in negativity bias, meaning they naturally hunt for problems. By deliberately recording 3 things you are grateful for, you train your attention to notice progress, counteracting that biological default. Level 2 allows you to stop identifying completely with your passing feelings. Instead of being consumed by anxiety, you step back and become an objective observer of it, shrinking your problems down to their actual, solvable size. Level 3 employs writing as a high-leverage framework for making high-stakes decisions. Here, journaling moves from observation to active planning. Look at the pipeline of human behavior. Thoughts dictate decisions, driving actions, which determine results. Vague thoughts die in the mind. To bridge the gap, write an implementation intention, a concrete commitment of exact time and action. When facing a major crossroad, you can use frameworks like Tim Ferriss's fear setting. By mapping out the absolute worst-case scenarios of a decision on paper, you almost always realize that the negative outcomes are completely preventable, or at the very least, repairable. You can also test out the Odyssey plan. Map out what your life looks like: 5 years on your current path, 5 years on a different path, or without money and judgment issues. If you're still stuck, you can deploy the Solomon conversation. You open a document and write to your 85-year-old future self, asking for advice. This psychological exercise easily bypasses your immediate anxieties, giving you access to long-term, objective wisdom. Level 3 transforms writing into a tool for planning. It forces the brain to commit to a direction, breaking abstract fears down into a list of manageable variables. When you zoom out, the long-term impact of this habit is undeniable. A physical journal becomes documented, irrefutable evidence of your own capability and growth over time. Reviewing past entries reveals hidden behavioral patterns your memory usually covers up. You start to notice that every time you neglect sleep, your productivity collapses. Or you read through intense fears from 12 months ago and realize the disasters you were bracing for never actually materialized. You don't have to fill 5 pages with profound prose every single day. A consistency of just 5 to 10 minutes a day yields massive psychological dividends. Profound life changes rarely arrive via dramatic external lightning strikes. They begin quietly, the exact moment you decide to slow down your thinking, pick up a pen, and write the very first sentence.